The Boy Scouts of America faces new questions after banning a child over his gender identity. 8-year-old Joe Maldonado, who was born a girl and now identifies as a boy, was removed from his New Jersey Cub Scout troop. Joe's family says parents of other children had complained.
Well, of course they complained. This is an 8-year-old girl named Jody. Despite the commentator there saying his, this is not a boy, this is a girl, a confused little girl whose parents are adding to the confusion. However compassionate their motivation may be, they are adding to the confusion. Of course, there are other kids say, that's Jody. Why is Jody in the Cub Scouts? Cub Scouts are for little boys. And an 8-year-old child is easily confused about things like this. In fact, there are many kids who at that age are confused or have different desires, and they grow out of them. And the worst thing that parents can do is accommodate them or play into them. Instead, we've got the media calling Jody Joe and referring to her as him. Of course, parents rightly complain. Listen to this commentary here, this dialogue on CBS this morning.
He was born Jody, but has been identifying as a boy for over a year.
So why did you want to join the Boy Scouts?
Because all my favorite friends were there.
Joe was a member of Cub Scout Pack 87 in New Jersey, but was recently removed over his legal gender, which is female.
What do you think of that reasoning?
I don't know.
And they knew full well he was not born a boy.
They all know Joe as when he was Jody.
In a statement, the Boy Scouts of America defended its actions, saying in part, no youth may be removed from any of our programs on the basis of his or her sexual orientation, but added gender identity isn't related to sexual orientation. In recent years, the Boy Scouts have reversed bans on gay scouts and scout leaders, but this incident could spark a new debate.
Yeah, well, Boy Scouts of America, you opened the door to that. Don't you understand this is not just LG, lesbian gay activism. This is LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender activism. Don't you understand it's all related? Don't you understand once you said that a boy who's attracted to other boys can be in the Boy Scouts openly, and even with a scout, you know, that if he's openly attracted to boys, still he can be a scout leader. Once that becomes the policy, of course it's going to open the door to this. And the Girl Scouts already say if the boy identifies as a girl, then she can come. Of course, you've opened the door to this. Wake up, Boy Scouts of America. You are heading down a slippery slope, and the only way to fix it is a complete reversal of the wrong policies if it's not too late to do that. What about this little kid? Yeah, the other boys knew this little girl is Jody. Now Jody says she's a boy and wants to be with them. Of course it causes confusion and it makes them uncomfortable. And it's not because they're transphobic. It's because they're boys. They're little kids. And what about Jody? You don't put this kid in front of a camera and interview the kid, and now they're a national celebrity, and ask them, okay, well, how do you feel about their reason? I don't know. Of course the kid doesn't know. She's 8 years old. And then what about the reason that the little girl gives? All my friends are there. Hey, when Nancy was growing up, she liked boys better than girls, and she was a tomboy and wished she was a boy. Is she a girl? Yes. Is she a woman? Yes. Should she have been able to be with the Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts because she liked the boys better and was a tomboy? No, of course not. What kind of insanity is that? But there's more. Listen to this again from CBS this morning.
Now, the Boy Scouts of America says its programs are for those who identified as boys on their birth certificates. The organization tells us it offered the family alternative co-ed programs for Joe, but his mother told me she is not interested and instead wants an apology for Joe.
It's excluding a child at that age is always tough. I mean, for a kid, he just wants to belong.
You really see public opinion. I know in your piece you said it's already coming. That will seemingly carry the day here.
Yeah, and the mother says she just wants to do what makes her child happy. This isn't about anything other than that.
Almost every line there is mind-boggling. Of course parents want to make their kids happy, but they know that Jody might want ice cream every day for breakfast, and that may make Jody happy, but it's not healthy. Parents constantly say to kids, I know what you want, but you're not going to get it because parents know better. What about excluding a child is hard? Yeah, but it is hard when you now put this child's difficulties on everybody else. Let's say you've got a 15-year-old boy who identifies as a girl who's now camping out with Girl Scouts. Is that fair to the other girls? And when they're dealing with their monthly cycle and things like that, is that kid not going to feel a little excluded? And what if he's heterosexual, because we're always told that transgender does not mean homosexual. What if this 15-year-old boy who identifies as a girl is still attracted to girls? Is that fair to the girls? Or having a boy who's openly gay and flouting it and, out and proud, and he's around the other boys and he's flirting with them. Is that fair to them? You don't want to exclude. Hey, if I want to identify a certain way and that's important to me, then there are going to be consequences with that. As for public opinion, while there was much more of a shift in terms of same-sex, quote, marriage being much more acceptable than it was before, and whereas obviously with all the trans activism and the Bruce Caitlyn Jenner stuff, there's certain shifts in public opinion. There are a whole lot of Americans who are saying no to trans activism. There are a whole lot of Americans who are saying, we don't want this grown man who identifies as a woman in the locker room at the YMCA next to our wives and daughters. We're not really comfortable with that. And on it goes. We're not comfortable with the government having to pay for sex change surgery and those kinds of things. So public opinion may shift, but it's going to shift back. It's not out of hatred. It's out of love for what is right and what is best. I hope that Jody gets some help so that she can be whole and happy in the body that God gave her. But if the Cub Scouts make a change here, mark my words, this is a further slide down the slippery slope.